We were chatting to Bruno yesterday, and he was saying that the players...
Well, you were lucky.
Yeah.
He only says one-word answers to me.
Very chatty. He was very chatty.
Yeah.
I probably talked to him into today.
Yeah.
No, but he was saying that they were the players were very disappointed and very sad about the Liverpool results because they thought they should have got at least a point. I know this probably sounds a bit sort of counterintuitive, but are you quite proud of that attitude? Does that show that they are thinking of themselves as Premier League players now? That that they think they had the right to take a point against Liverpool. Is that sort of a positive that's come out of that now?
I think we've been like that the last 6 or 8 weeks, really. I think we've it took all that time. I think we realised that wow, we are Premier League players now, and I think they've played like that over the weeks. I think the lads were disappointed because when I know from a Liverpool's point of view they looked good goals, but they were avoidable. And I think, once again, it's cost us points. And throughout the season, we've lost points from things that could have been avoided, really. And, somebody should have been in that slot for the first goal. The same guy who was in the slot, really, for every other corner kick. Are you with me? But you lose concentration and you get punished at this level. You probably get away with it in the Championship. So, yeah, I think the lads were disappointed. I think the big thing about Liverpool was... same with Chelsea, etc. The time before, with the big clubs, we've never really given them a game. Whereas I thought these two, we gave them both a good game, really, and we gave our fans something to cheer about. It wasn't just 11 men behind the ball, and we had a go when we could. And that's what pleased me, really. That it was an I actually enjoyed looking at my lads compete against these one of the best sides in the world at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And just in terms of their attitude as well, I mean. You probably listened to Graham Souness after the Manchester derby in the week, and he was saying that when he was part of that Liverpool squad, the managers always just said to them, you've got to go out there and just work at least as hard as or harder than your opposition, otherwise you haven't got a chance. I know there are many different factors, and it is very subtle in terms of what gets involved, but is that at the base of it, that your players have got to go out there and work harder than Fulham? Yeah,
that's the minimum requirement, really, at any league, whether it's Sunday League or Premier League. That's the minimum requirement. And when you listen to people like Souness, I talk to my strikers, and I mention Liverpool teams of the past, of Ian Rush and Dalglish and people like that, work the socks off. When you look at the games, the close people down, they never gave them a second, and they're top class international world class players. So you don't have to be, I think that's one of the success stories this year of Manchester City. You've got world-class players, and when you lose it, they're like rashes. They're all over. It's fantastic to see world-class players working hard first, and to get that, it's great for a manager.
You mentioned Manchester City, and Pep has said in the week, advised his players to avoid TV, avoid radio, stay calm with the whole sort of title run-in. Are you dishing out similar advice to your players for a different reason?
No, not really. Like I say, it's a strange feeling at the moment because I don't feel under pressure. If I'm honest, I feel that we've, like I think Graham said about, is it almost like the shackles are off? I just feel like that, and I want the players to be like that. Training's been like that, and I don't know. Obviously, match day when I look around the dressing room, there might be the odd one's eyes that I think's a little bit fearful. So it might be time to have a quiet word with one or two. But I think in general, the players are looking forward to it. 3 games to go and we've still got a chance. I mean, you could have got a good price on that, really, at the start of the season.
You and I talked about Chris Sutton at the beginning of the season, and he seems to be hedging his bets a bit.
Yeah. I was asked this morning on radio about that. Listen, you've got to say things at times to make a living, haven't you? So I appreciate certain people say certain things to have an impact. But, I think when Chris Sutton said that about us getting 11 points, when I looked at the fixture list, I didn't think we'd get 11 points at that stage. So I can understand where he was coming from. But if anything, it gave us a lift to not just prove Chris wrong, but to try and have some pride. I think we've had pride in the way we've gone about it this year. And that's why I can't fault the lads, whatever happens in the next 3 games.
Last couple from me, again talking to Bruno, he said that he thought what was really special about this Cardiff City team, and we've talked about it, I know a lot, is the spirit. everybody wants to survive in the Premier League, but it's also that spirit of being together and fighting for each other. He thinks that will give Cardiff City the edge over certainly Brighton, potentially even a team like Southampton. Is he overstating it, or is there something very special?
No, I think everybody can see that. I think our spirit's been second to none. You know, we might be technically not as gifted as a lot of teams, but I think the spirit has always been there this year. I think we're a little bit nervous early doors, October, November, but I thought we'd come into our own really, and then I think the last 2 months we've not just had spirit. I think we've played well as well. You know, I think people probably sometimes don't give us enough credit for the way we've gone about our jobs, but we've really tried to have a go and entertain and make it an interesting finale, you know, to the season. So I can't fault the lads in there, and we'll continue to do that. You know, I don't think we can't just go and shut up shop. We've got to go for wins in the 3 games really.
And you've said about it being your greatest achievement if you keep Cardiff City in the Premier League. I know professionally you'll always be professional, but I wonder whether that gives you that extra edge, that extra wish to do this, that extra push to do this, because it's something you want to make sure you've got in your... Yeah,
I mean, I think you always do that. You know, it would probably at the same time be my biggest disappointment, you know, if things didn't work out. So it's, you know, unfortunately for me, I can't be at the end of them crosses and nodding them in goals, you know. I can try and do it from where I'm stood, but it's very difficult. You know, you've got to rely on the players, and, you know, you've just got to hope that players, the important players that can win us games, perform in those games really now, and try and give them the background and organisation to let them flourish in these, you know, pressurised situations really. But as I've said, I don't actually feel as bad as I did sort of 4 or 5 weeks ago now. I feel like the shackles are almost off us, and we can go and play really, and I want the lads to think like that.
Enjoy the football. Final one from me. I know you are both professionals, both you and Chris Hughton. I wonder who wants this more.
I don't think any of us want it more. I think Chris is a fabulous guy and a great manager. He's been shortchanged a couple of times in his career when he looks back, and you know, sometimes the grass is not always greener for these clubs, is it? But whatever happens, I think, you know, Chris and we contact each other quite a lot, and I'm sure when it's all decided we'll be talking to each other, because that's how we are. You know, we've got a lot of respect for each other in that respect.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Neil, you mentioned it would be your biggest disappointment if you miss out. We think of you in relegation fights. We always come back to that Sheffield United campaign in 2007. Would this and staying up make up for that in any way?
No, not really. I think, you know, you look back at incidents, don't you, in the season, which I will look back on incidents in this season as well, you know. You can't get away from, you know, the memories of the seasons, really. All you've got to do is do your best. I thought we had more chance of staying up when I was at Sheffield United, if I'm honest, than here. I thought we had the back, you know, I think we got 38 points, but, you know, circumstances, I thought we were very unlucky then. So this time it's just a matter really of doing the best we can, and so I don't think about that. I just think what a great situation it would be for the fans and for everybody else if we could manage what would be a minor miracle really.
Speaking of the fans as well, last season in the running there was a bit of bad blood between the Cardiff and the Fulham fans. I think, you know, Fulham fans saying that they played the better stuff, Cardiff fans rightfully pointing to the league table. Did that extend at all to the players and the coaches? Do you sense that little bit of niggle?
Not really. I mean, as I said, I've got some good mates who are Fulham fans, and I've got to say they were the best footballing side in the Championship that I've ever seen in the Championship. So I'd have to admit that's the truth, you know. But you know, it takes all to make wonderful leagues that we've got, whether it's Championship, Division 1, 2, or the Premiership. And I think that, you know, at some situations last year, you know, we were written off a couple of times near the end of the season, and you know, to come back again and again. I think 3 times we came back from being overtaken, and to finally get clinched that spot was a fabulous achievement, really. So there's going to be banter between all clubs that are vying for success, really. But like, as I've said, I think it's a fabulous club, mate.
And just in terms of Fulham's recent form, I know they've had those back-to-back wins, but those have been against teams with perhaps little to play for. Do you think you'll be a tougher test for them, seeing what you've got?
That I don't know. I don't honestly know. Like I say, Everton have been flying, so I can't see them having a tougher game than Everton, and they stroll through that really. So we hope that we give them a tough game. That's what we want to do. But you just don't know who performs on the day. Like you say, shackles are off. They've got good players all over the show, but we have. So it should be a good game, I think.
Just finally, in terms of team news, how's Joe Rolls?
Joe will be out for the season, really. No point in telling anything different, really. He'll be, hopefully ready for pre-season. He's got a very, I don't know what grade it was. I don't know how to class the grades, but it's a tear in his hamstring. So he'll probably be about 8 weeks.
And Harry Arter, is he going to...
Harry Arter, you just don't know with Harry from one day to the next. But his brother-in-law, Scott Parker, so we're banning him from watching us train this week. We're banned him just in case he's after going to Fulham next year.
Neil, very quickly, is there any update on contract talks with Bruno Manga?
No, we've got an option on Bruno, so he's here for next year, whether he likes it or not. But we have spoke about Bruno at board level, and that what we said is let's get the season over and then talk about him. He's a valuable asset to our squad, really. On and off the field, he's a super guy, and I think I brought the best out of him, and I think he's appreciated that, really. I think he's enjoying his time here. So I probably will be looking to extend his contract, if anything, but he'll be in next season.
Is it a similar situation with Kadeem Harris?
No, Kadeem's contracts. We have had a talk with Kadeem, but we can't at the moment. Nothing's been agreed in that respect.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Good luck.
That was